And we are live, and today's session is going to be about CRO, conversion rate optimization. And we are sponsored by this guy, the news guy. The logo is above, his link is below, so please do check him out. But again, you've probably heard it all before, but there you go.
There we go. We're all good.
We're all good. Boxes ticked. Just got to make sure that I say what I've got to say, and then I can chill. And
I appreciate it, man. Well, welcome home, right? So, how was the trip?
It was fun, but tiring. The trip home yesterday was not a lot of fun, and as you can expect, I am jet lagged to fuck. I had an afternoon nap, and I'm trying to do this. Then I've got a couple of things I need to sort out later on, and then try and get another good night's sleep. And we'll see where we go. But the traveling's the worst part, Randy. It is a fucking 22.5 hour trip for me to get out there. So
now is that so you're flying from Glasgow, and then I'm assuming it wasn't. And for those folks, Craig is just coming back from Chiang Mai. So, well, let's on the way home. Let's say this. So, from Chiang Mai, what was your next leg? How did it go for you, I guess?
So Chiang Mai, which is in the north of Thailand, down to Bangkok, which is the main airport in Thailand. So that's about an hour, 4-hour layover, then Bangkok to Dubai, then another 3 or 4 hour layover, whatever it was, and then Dubai to Glasgow. It's rough. And also there's nothing worse than yesterday morning. I was going through Dubai and it was like 4 a.m. and it was 25 degrees in Dubai, and I'm looking out and I'm like, you bastard, I should have stayed off for a fucking break. But and dude, it's 1 degrees here today in Glasgow. It is really fucking cold. Like the winter has.
Oh, that's basically what it is here for me as well. It's like 30, 33 degrees here.
The heating's on full blast.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad until, like, I think my wife tells me last week, and then it's just dropped. It was like 13, 14 degrees.
Yeah.
That was you didn't really need the heating on that much. But no, it's taken a sinister turn, and you can see I've got a jumper on, which I don't often wear. So yeah. But that was the trip, and
now I did see though you posted and what flight was, I'm wondering what flight that was on, but like your beautiful little cubbyhole space. It's like it was an apartment on in your plane.
Yeah. So that was the Dubai to Glasgow one.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I slept most of the way. I slept from Bangkok to Dubai, then I woke up, and then I slept from Dubai to Glasgow pretty much the full way. So, but what I would say is I got back to Glasgow at 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Even though I slept all the way, and I went to my bed last night about 9 o'clock p.m. and I woke up at 9 a.m. today. So I had a full 12 hours and I still feel tired. Jet lag does something bad to your body, man.
Man, that was a lot of sleep. I've never slept 12 hours. I've never slept that long ever.
Yeah.
And especially if you're coming in from, sleep otherwise. Wow, that's crazy. Well, good for you, man. Well, all right.
Joe's here for the webinar about the Marichichis, the creations. Right. Emily has got a question. What websites do you follow to get ideas for CRO? We're going to have a look at your website
Yeah,
shortly.
yeah.
But I think that's a great question. Like, you've obviously went and made some tweaks, and also, Emily, previously Randy had asked group. What the fuck is happening here? So Randy had asked the mastermind group that I have, and did we all slag off your website before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's been about a year ago, I think. But yeah, yeah, we all took a deep dive in it, kicked it around the can, and yeah.
So I think, between obviously getting other industry peers giving you their advice, was there a website you looked at going, oh shit, I like that? Is it your competition, or do you look at just general websites?
You know, I did a lot of different things, and I've been kicking this around for the last, I don't know, several months as well. So, um, and I'll tell you, Emily, this is what I do, I guess, and right or wrong. I look at a lot of different sites, right? First, and I kind of get a sense of, I'm looking at elements, and I'm trying to think, okay, I see what they're doing and trying to roll things in. And, there's all different kinds of elements, right? To try to create trust and confidence and help on the conversion, right? So I'm looking for all of those things, how people kind of play them out, and implement them on their site. Then I also go look at competitors. I want to see what my competitors are doing and see how they're implementing things, um, and see if there's anything like, oh, that looks really good. I'm falling down on that, or they're kicking my ass here, or what. But and then I start kind of going in. Uh, the last couple of days, what I did as well is that I decided, I'm like, I'm gonna have a couple of different LLMs act as, CRO professionals. So I kind of primed the pump, with a couple of different LLMs. I used Manus and Claude and Perplexity to go take a look see and give me some input, and then I went and I like seriously changed up a bunch of stuff on my site, on the homepage. I hadn't done anything else to any of the other pages, but just on the homepage.
So let's see it. Let's go through it. Now is a good
Let's see
time.
it. You want me to share or you want to share it?
No, you can share it and talk us through.
All right. Let me pull it up. I know. So I'm going to share it. And it's going to slow down my feed dramatically, but I'll do it. Let's see.
All right, let me add that in. Here we go.
All right. So, knock this out. So I had really changed this header quite a bit. I had this as like um, an original tagline that we used called and was "We make your brand irresistible." I think is what it was, or something like that, with a little heart on it. And I'm like, okay. And all of the LLMs as well said, yeah, you got to dial it in, get very specific. And, so I changed, the H1, and then I put in another little subheader in here to try to drive. And I used to have like, well, I did a couple of different things. I used to have three different buttons here, CTAs, that were like my press releases, or featured articles, and our link building. So you could be like, hey, what do you want? PRs, featured articles, link building, right? So you could click to either one and go directly there. And then I don't know. I've been running ads and doing some different things with that, and I thought, oh, I'm going to put in an order now button underneath those, as well as like book a call for a consultation. So I ended up having like five different buttons here, like three and then two like stacked. I'm like, oh yeah, I think that was probably way confusing and created way too much tension, right?
Here-
So
Here's a question, Randy.
yeah.
Out of curiosity, do you convert more? Like, do people normally come onto your website and just simply order now, or do you normally get more signups through after doing the free consultation?
Uh, well, I certainly get much more people to come to the site and just order.
Right.
So yeah. Um, but in general, on any given week, I'm probably doing like 15 to 20 consults. Um, and once I do a consultation with folks, and we kind of walk through and I'm able to kind of address anything. I mean, they're 80% of the time they're buying at that point, a PR, which is great. Um, but um, but for the most part, people come to the site and just order, right?
Right. No, I was just curious as to why it would be order now, as the call to action on there. Like, was there
Yeah.
any thought given on that, or like if? And my point was going to be, if more of your shit is consultancy calls and then those convert, then you know, would you have done some form of testing,
Yeah.
messing
Yeah.
around with order now, or
Yeah, I'm gonna play around with, the text in this button here, but and the reason why, and I should say the whole reason why I wanted to go and attack this a little bit more is because I am, planning. I have been the last 2 months, and I'm planning to do more of advertising, both on Facebook and YouTube. Driving more just essentially kind of soft leads to come to the site. And so I'm trying to like, okay, how can I convert these folks better and faster, right? So that was, the premise around here. Cleaned up the buttons, did a very like, okay, boom, go hit it now. Um, and then kind of a, hey, like here's some of the sites we're going to get you featured on. And then I rolled up immediately into our packages. I used to have a video and I just moved the video down lower into the page. Um, but and I think you had told me this even, I don't know, a while ago, a year ago or whatever. I think when you guys were kicking my butt, like, oh, you got to push that, your packages right up front there, right? And so we ended up doing that. I pushed this up because this section was deeper down on the homepage. And so now I've got it here. I pretty much have left this alone though, right? So the different packages and how we do the comparison and such,
yeah,
highlighting, the premium as, that's our better thing. Then the LLMs kicked me, and I do like the idea. Was a couple of different elements that I put in. One was a guarantee, and then another was this counter, right? Kind of this trust metric bar. I need to find a I've seen on sites. So, Emily, to your point, this is one of the things. Is a good question. So, I've seen on different sites, and and I was doing just even this morning. I was trying to find what plugin or what it was. So I built this in Elementor. Uh, and Elementor just has a counter like this. So this is just the Elementor counter, and it's just one item in here. But I know I've seen in other sites where they've got like three different things going across that could be a counter, right? So like I would like to do like press releases published, number of news sites kind of thing, and then like, I don't know, maybe
Number of links published.
yeah, number of link. Yeah, exactly. Like the bazillion number of links published or something like that, right? But I would like to do 3, but I couldn't find it. I don't know if there's a plugin specifically that will do that. I was trying to find it and I don't know. Um, I didn't see anything. I was looking at a couple of other sites, see if I could inspect their site to see what they were using for it. But do you know? You
I
know what
don't
I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it, and I get what you're saying. I am not the right guy to tell you how to figure that one out. When it comes to design, I've always just got a guy do that shit for me because that's when
Yeah,
I start to blow shit up. Um, that's where the problem starts. So I know what I like the
yeah,
look of, and I have seen the websites with multiple statistics or
yeah,
whatever going across there.
yeah,
I think that's something I would probably have there.
yeah. So I did that, upgraded, I updated some of the content, some of the text, that I'm talking about. Um, Now I will say that I did as well, which, um, I'm a big believer in like kind of building agents to do specific kinds of tasks. So, I kind of built an agent for sales copy, and copywriting. Well, I took like Dan Kennedy as an example and Alex Hormozy, and I kind of took some different sources from those guys, used built an agent to like, okay, hey, get familiar with these guys, here's some of their material, and then go say, all right, now acting like these guys, let's go rewrite some of this content sections, and then boom, have them rewrite it. So I did that and rewrote some of the like I rewrote this section here completely, as and a few other things. Now I did move. So instead of having, if you recall, I talked about I had like a consult conversation or a button here. So the advice that I got through the LLMs both said, "Hey, push that down lower." So I dropped it down here. Here's my video, kind of walking through the process. Now a little bit more. I changed out. I had just kind of a generic stock image. I changed that out with something that we had created. I'm not happy with this particular image. I think I'm going to change it up yet. I'll have the gal on our team who does our images kind of touch this up, do it better. But I didn't want to have a stock image on here. Rewrote. This was already on here. I already had this, just rewrote some of the content, rewrote this content. There's my
Oh,
man.
um,
I have all of this stuff, rewrote these things here a little bit. Boom. Rewrote a few of our FAQs. So, so that was it. But most of the work went into, as far as design elements and change up, was all kind of right in through here, all in the above, and how we reordered some of this stuff. So I don't know. So we'll see. Today really is the first, like, okay, boom, kind of the new flow. We'll see what happens. I'll start monitoring and see how the flow goes.
do you, in addition to when you've done these changes, um, do you have any like kind of hotjar or anything on here to monitor user activity to see if they're
Yeah.
struggling with anything?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that was one of the things that as well kind of hit me in talking about. Remember, I mentioned I had like 5 buttons going across right in here. And people were like, I see their mouse kind of going all in here looking at these things, and that, and then scrolling. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah. And the typical kind of, once you get at a certain point, people, and this is what convinced me, especially on what you had advised, was pull this package stuff up much sooner because yeah, I was just seeing I had this like underneath this section actually, underneath this big logo image here, and people were dropping off. I was starting to lose like 40% of the traffic before they even saw
Oh, the
the
prices.
package pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, shit, that's not working. So
I think when you have to look at these things and sometimes like get a second opinion, and that was one of the first things for me. Like, it's a big ass scroll to get down to the fucking nitty gritty where the prices are,
yeah,
and no one can be fucking arsed on that. Like, just
I know it.
hit it straight away. And some people don't like to hit it straight away. They're trying to. It's like they're trying to create a funnel page, and
Well,
that's
I
not.
know, and that's me. I like for me, I look at this, I'm like, I'm not. I don't like just like, hey, here's that right in your face kind of thing. It seems a little more in your face to me than what I want, but seeing behavior on the page, how people, like as I said, about 40% of the traffic drops off before they even get to this. That's a lot. So, I'm like, okay, I gotta do something. I gotta change that up.
The
So,
problem the problem with your type of business, Randy, is when you're doing obviously the type of exposure you try to get, whether it be from me, and
right,
shouting
right,
out the news guy and your different things. A lot of the people who come to your website are just like, fuck it, I'm going to order, and that's where they
right,
can't be
right,
asked, and that's the main problem. For if you were at the very beginning of your journey and no one had knew who you were, hadn't heard of you, and stumbled across it, sure, I think that's the case. But yeah, I think it's just got to be really easy for all, because like you say, you're going to be doing more of this, more of that, more Facebook and everything else, and
yeah.
you've already hooked them with the ads. Show them the fucking price straight away.
Well, I know that's exactly right. And so that's what ultimately convinced me is exactly what you're saying. I think there's a fair amount of people that just come to the site that's already has heard of me, right? Has already, like they're coming via referral of some sort, either like through your channel, through the sponsorships, through our stuff, through referral from somebody else, or um, uh, I and I'm very thankful. Other people kind of talk about our services and refer people to come to the site, which is great. Um, so I know and they're just like exactly right. They just went like, okay, where are the packages? I'm going to try this thing, right? And so
Yeah,
don't make them piss around a little bit, or we're stepping up and doing more on ads and stuff. And so with those folks, I kind of want to treat it as well as like, here's the landing page, go get it. Don't let's not make this too complicated for you. So that's kind of the approach that I'm taking with it right now. But I feel pretty good about this header. What do you think about this?
I like it. And I also noticed you've moved it up to 700 plus news websites. It used to say
Yeah.
500 plus.
Yeah. We actually are distributing now like over 1,000, but it all depends. I hate to say 1,000 because it almost sounds not real, but
Yeah. So you're
um,
playing it down.
yeah, but we're distributing out our full network right now is like 1,000, just under 1,100, something like that. Yeah, yeah,
So no, I like it. I think it's simple. You've got your order now button, and of course, the kind of top kind of websites there listed as
yeah,
well, which is going to suck people in. So
yeah,
clean, tidy. I think less is more, Randy. And also just to answer a bit of Emily's question as well. I look at guys like Neil Patel, for example. I firmly believe that guy would have tried everything in terms of CRO on his website to get
mm,
that finally polished up. Um, and his website is very plain, but very simple, but very effective. And
Yeah.
I think less is more now. I think we went through a phase there where people were doing ridiculous amounts of CRO and ridiculous amounts of experiments. And I think common sense has to prevail at some point as well. People just want to get on. I'm lazy, you're lazy, everyone's
Mhm.
lazy. They just need it fed on their lap and just boom. They can't be fucked clicking around. And
Yeah.
that's the way the world's going. Everything just needs to be dropped in quick and fast. So I think less is more on a website, to be honest. And you look at Patel's website and various other guys in the marketing space, and these guys have probably spent millions of pounds polishing that up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just take what you want and try it out.
So I have a question for you. I'd love your opinion. What do you think? So these two elements here, so they're two separate, right? One is the guarantee, and then the other is this, trust metric bar is what it's
Mhm.
called. Um, what do you think of these? Does it make it too, like, I look at this section right in through here, to your point, I feel like it's almost too much. Like it's almost too busy here.
To be honest, Randy, I don't like the 100% satisfaction guarantee. Full stop. The reason I don't like that is I see people who have that in their website, and this is just a personal opinion. It's always
Yeah.
down to debate. Anyone who has that in their website, for me, is someone who's got a dodgy uh, previous history, and they're trying to shout about satisfaction and guarantees.
Mm,
Um, you know, it's like that's just my opinion. I'm like, why is that there? Like, are people? Why would we not expect to get a fucking good result? So
mhm.
I'm not a fan of that. Do you really need the 1800 and these
Right.
kind of statistics on there? I also don't think you need that. You're much further on in your career um, with this business. Do you need to basically sell your soul to the devil and fill up those gaps? People will already probably know that you've serviced tons and
Mm,
tons of people. So these kind of little gimmicks, I think, could be wiped out. I would probably take both of them away if it was me, and then just go straight on to feature your
mm,
story in over 700 outlets. I
mhm.
just don't think they add any real value. Like, who cares whether it's
Yeah.
18,000 or fucking 180,000 or like, is that going to make me do it? Like,
I know, right? I know
no,
that's
it's it's see if you were selling fucking gold bars or something. Trust is more important. Has he really got a 50 grand? These are in the grand scheme of things are not gold bars that you're buying. So, do we need those kind of in your face trust signals? No, it's just it's a PR gig, and I think most of the marketing people willy nilly would try this stuff because of the kind of costs of the packages. So I don't think you need to overemphasize um, those parts. I don't think it makes a huge difference. That's just my personal opinion.
mm.
But
Well, that's what I'm not completely sold on it either, and and by the way, even the way that I've stacked this and thinking about flow, the element flow in the page is based on the LLM feedback. So I'm like really kind of drew a lot from the LLM feedback as well, saying, "Oh yeah, do this, put this, and do it in this order." And they all three of them all put, like, "Oh yeah, do these two elements in here." I'm like, really? I'm not sure now because I've got when you start talking trust elements, so as you get further down into the site, and I've got testimonials, video testimonials. I've got client testimonials showing stuff. Chris Labatt, you probably
Yeah,
know
yeah.
him, Chris, right? So I've got, here's a couple of our buddies, Simon and Paul, right? All, with stuff. I got some case studies going on here, so I've got other trust elements just deeper down into the site. So that's where I'm like, do I need these at all? That's why I'm like, I don't know. But then, so to your point, then I think, well, if I'm going to do more ads and stuff, and people are going to come to the site that don't have, don't know me, don't know me from Adam over here. Is this going to be impactful for them or not, or is it just all bullshit?
Do you think people really read that fucking far though? That that's the thing. Like
I,
people don't, man. Like people just try shit and then read. It's I do the same. Like I should, when I book a hotel, go and read the reviews and do all of this.
Mhm.
I can't be asked. I've not got enough time. So I go and book it. And it's only when you go and you get a shit hotel, you go back and read the reviews and you're like, you motherfucker, I didn't fucking check that out. So I don't think people can be asked, in all honesty. And Lee makes a valid point here as well.
Mhm.
Um, do you think too many video testimonials and attempts to validate the offer can harm the conversion? With it's nice to have some form of validation on there, but having all of that again, I think he makes a good point. Do you think that can harm the conversion? No
I know,
one's
that's what I
no
wonder.
one's saying it does, but do you have you ever be honest, Randy, anything you've ever bought online, have you ever actually went and looked at the fucking testimonials or any of this crap? You don't. Like, who fucking does that? Really?
I do. It's funny you even asked that. I was looking at something, I can't remember what the hell it was. And then I, even saw like there were a couple of people that, friends of ours that I even know, and that they were the ones doing the testimony. I'm like, oh, look at that guy was doing that. But otherwise, usually if you look at that shit, it's just who the hell knows nobody, right? It's a nobody, nobody's heard it. It could be completely made up. And so, I look at half of this stuff sometimes when I'm online, people doing stuff. I'm always viewing it with an element of skepticism anyway, that people just make the shit up. And
Exactly. So I mean, I think that's obviously something that you can test to see whether they are impactful or not. You could potentially leave them there, whip them off, and see if it makes any difference. I don't think it would make a huge difference, in all honesty.
well,
Uh,
I've never had them on before. So they're, really I just added these today. So, I'm going to leave them up. We'll see how they flow and then go from there.
yeah,
What I don't want to have happen is I don't want to reduce, the consults, because I really like doing the consultations, and then B, I do very well on conversion once I have them. So I didn't want to lose that. I did push this video down further. I've had this video for a long, long time. So
when you had hair, that video was recorded.
yes, that's how old that video is.
And
You sons of bitch. Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah. But
But I think going down towards the FAQs and stuff. The argument is there's always going to be douchebags. Not douchebags. It's not even fair to say that there are going to be people who do like to look at that kind of stuff,
yeah.
and need further convincing. But if you scroll down there, Randy, got questions frequently asked. What's under that?
Yeah. So these are, like which
No, no, no,
package?
not under there.
What?
What is under that section?
Oh,
Graphic
this is,
free ebook.
yeah.
See this? Like, if someone does scroll down that far, they've got to scroll all the way fucking back up to the top to get to your packages.
Right.
Wouldn't you just have order now there again to
Oh, I
get
have another CTA button down here. Grab your press release now.
yeah, but
Something like that.
yeah, like get rid of the book. Like no, I mean, how many people grab that ebook?
You'd be surprised actually. I probably get like 2 or 3 signups a day
Oh,
on the
really?
ebook.
Well,
Yeah.
keep it there, but just above it and after the FAQs, after everyone, let's say for the people who want to read your testimonials, who are digging around, who don't trust you and you think, you're
Mhm.
another fucking chancer on the internet, anyone who scrolls down that far and gets to the bottom and reads the FAQs, I'd be going, right, place an order now, right there.
Like another one right here
Yeah.
above the book and after the FAQs. Yeah.
Just so that they're not then scrolling all the way up to the top. Yeah,
Right,
again,
right.
it's like putting it in their plate right there for
Mm,
them. Um,
good idea.
I
All
mean,
right, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, and these are just accordion stuff, right? So kinda answer a lot of text and, you know
obviously good for the old SEO
exactly.
uh,
Exactly.
down there. But
Yeah,
like I say, if anyone is crazy enough to go down that far and read it all, I would absolutely lay it in a plate for them, and maybe have another call to action.
yeah,
But I'm not sure. See, even where your testimonials are, you've got
yeah.
a couple of videos, then the results speak for themselves, and then you've got all of these. I don't know if I would have them. It's good having testimonials. I absolutely agree. But do you need? Could there not be like check your testimonials, and then it takes you to a page full of that shit if someone wants it, rather than cluttering up and make your homepage so cluttered?
Mm,
Can't you have that on a separate page? If someone wants it, there's a nice button and they can go and see all of that shit if they want, but it just makes it, just with what's on there and the layout of it, which I think is super clean and tidy, it's your fucking homepage. Like, do we really need it to be that cluttered? So the real clients, real successes, and all that stuff,
yeah.
again, I wouldn't have on my necessarily have let it
Oh,
lay.
you wouldn't do these on the homepage either?
Yeah, I would get rid of all of that. I'd
Mm,
probably have like want to see some success or whatever, and then
mhm.
have a page dedicated to that. I just think it's your homepage is pretty cluttered, in my opinion. And
You're being nice. I know you really wanna like, "Oh, fuck, you got too much shit on there."
I mean, it is. I mean, it is. Having your additional services is important. I don't
Yeah,
think that's taking up too much space for me, man. It really is. Um,
this whole section down
yeah,
here. But that kinda gets to the point that you were saying earlier. Do you think people I just know as well by looking at, like, the hotjar, only about 20% of the traffic ever gets down into this territory. You
yeah.
know, it yeah.
So, Lee's saying, grab the ebook, ask for number, use bot to offer fast track consultation right to calendar. If they go as far as that, they are invested. So, yeah,
Mhm. Mm. Alright, alright. I'll contemplate this. I hear what you're saying. Could certainly do these as separate pages. Well, each one of these are separate pages,
yeah.
so
So you can still keep those separate pages, but I just think that whole section could just be one button. Check out
yeah,
our testimonials, and boom, if someone does
and
want
then
to dig around, they can go
right.
click around. As far as I'm concerned, but we're trying to keep this clean, tidy, and to the point.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
But that's just my opinion. Someone might be sitting there going, "Craig, you're full of fucking shit. We need this." Um, and they may very well be right as well. My
Yeah,
other question, Randy, to you,
yeah.
like, we know how to feed the LLMs, right? We know how to get stuff to pop. Why would you? And I'm not saying you have, but why would anyone trust what the LLM say in terms of CRO as well? Like, where's it pulling that information
I
from?
know.
What if some jackass, who's got about 1 year's experience has, been feeding the LLMs and says, "Oh, do this, do that, and client testimonials are the best thing for CRO and all this bollocks," and then people are implementing that stuff. My thing is trying to make data-led decisions when it comes to CRO and potentially using
Right.
some form of software rather than. I think doing it your way
Oh, that's a good
potentially
question.
work, but
Yeah.
who's to say? Who's to say that's fucking right? Like you said earlier, they were, it was suggesting that you put in the the guarantee and all that kind of stuff. But who's to say that that's not some fucking pillock that doesn't know what he's doing? Has kept saying that somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a load of old bollocks. So again, I think always testing, checking, and trying to use Hotjar and stuff to see where people go. And like you say, a lot of it is a load of old shit, and only 20% of people go that far. So it's always debatable whether you actually have to add these things, but yeah, it's a hard one.
Uh, it is a fair question. I will tell you that. And that's why I went to 3 different LLMs, right, to
Mhm.
get a different opinion. Like, I really like Manus as well for some of this stuff, like a much more technical stuff. I don't know if how much you played around with Manus at all, but,
Not too much.
I think it's pretty impressive when you're trying to dig into this kind of stuff with it. But that's why, anyway, to your point, that's why I went to Manus, Perplexity, and Claude and said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I want you to think like this, um, to kind of prime it, and then go from there." Um, yeah, I don't. They all three could be like blowing smoke and have no fucking idea what they're doing. Yeah. Right, yes. Absolutely right. Um, I don't
But
know. So
nah,
I guess we'll see. I will say this though, so some of those elements, yes, I will say this though, that I do like this direction much better though.
yeah. Oh, that part is cleaner,
Yeah,
tidier, absolutely. And the
yeah.
only one little thing that annoys the fucking life out of me about this whole thing, Randy, if you scroll down a bit to your packages, get down a little bit more, like see that,
Yeah, where this order now is, I like straight, clean.
dude. There has to be a way to get that fucking those buttons aligned. There has to be. That is fucking
I
rotten to
it
the
I
core.
can, but this is what it'll just increase this blank space here, right, on these
Mm,
2 packages here in order to bring them down to be even with this, because I can't and I don't want to like reduce this
yeah.
in order to, right, because I want to show the distinction between the packages, but I can, you know, push these down,
Would
but
you not just have
then
a
all of a
little bit
sudden
more
I'm going to have as well then just big white
white
dead space
space?
there.
Yeah.
So what I don't know. I'm like, yeah, you and me both. I'm like looking at it like, I don't know if I like, I don't like that offset thing. But because of that though, I think as well that it almost drives people to go down to the order now kind of thing. People do read left to right and they kind of read at the sweep, from the top corner to the bottom corner. Um, um, and
Don't
so they
don't
kind of
try and
they
twist
kind of
this into this is some weird cool design. This is
Yeah, exactly. See, you're like, yeah, he really got. What I should do though is at least even these two out because that one is a little. I see that is a little higher than this
yeah.
one, so I should even those two out. But
But that
yeah,
that's just a bit of the OCD in me. I'm looking at that going, that is fucking it's like a it's like a tradesman. just not fucking doing the final touches to a job. You're like, you motherfucker, like 90%
Yeah.
of this is
Yeah.
spot on, but that just leaves a bit of a fuck you
Yeah.
taste in your
Yeah.
mouth. So,
Yeah.
but just thought I'd highlight that as if I know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, but this section, these two elements here, I'm like, I don't know if I'm up in the air about these two as well. So
and Lee is saying grey out the text with strike through so comparison is easier. That will keep it in line.
Oh, I see. Just add these onto add the rest of these
Yeah,
onto these other packages, gray them out. Oh yeah. I've seen that that style before as well.
yeah. That's a good shout, Lee.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think done an overall good job. You're always tweaking, and I think that's what you have to do, and always looking for feedback. I think that's a
Yeah.
healthy thing to do as well.
I'm always nervous about it though because business is good. And so then I think, oh shit, I don't want to do something. And then all of a sudden I take a 10% knock to the knee here, right? Or you know,
Really, it's not, is it? I would highly doubt. Like the changes that you've made are not. It's not like you've changed the brand or changed the pricing
yeah,
and a whole bunch of stuff. So realistically,
right.
I can't see it really having a negative impact. I think with anything, it's just trying to get
Yeah,
those small marginal gains, making it easier for the
yeah.
user. So I would
But
be.
you understand what I'm saying? And I think that's why sometimes people are fearful about changing.
Oh, dude, I am the worst guy for it. I hate change. I am very much if it's not broken, don't fix it, and have the fear of people not liking the changes. But realistically, all you've done is try to make things better and laid out better. So I think it's good to do it. It's easier to say on someone else's website though than on your
Right.
own. But
Yeah. All right.
nah,
So that's CRO, and and that's by any means saying I'm an expert at it at all. I'm just like, well, we'll play around with it, we'll test it, we'll see what kind of results happen, and then we'll, you know, change around. I do think that I am, and I am one who I like to take action. I'm I'm one of those guys, I go to conferences, I write shit down and make my action list, and I push myself to like get as much of it done the first week I'm back from someplace as I can. I like to take action, but it's you know, I
nah.
think it's good.
I was actually talking to Chris Walker about you the other night. He's like, Randy, is one of the first guys that was on my platform and, one of the success stories and, all of that kind of stuff. And we were talking about that and we're like, yep, and I was saying to him, like, Randy's a guy who's always just striving to get a little bit better. He's sitting in mastermind religiously, trying to pick
Mm,
up bits of information. He goes to conferences religiously, and that was the one thing that Chris said. He takes action. He takes it on the chin. Always, whether it's been in a mastermind and getting a little
mm,
golden nugget from someone, you're always fucking around. And I think that's obviously got to be a part of the success that you've had because Chris started out his marketplace and he said, oh, Randy was on there and one of the OGs of legit, and he's obviously done uh, well for himself. And your
yeah.
rate, I don't know. Do you still sell on legit or?
I do. We still do have a listing on there. It's the only platform that, aside from my own site, obviously, it's the only. But Legit is the only other platform we offer on, and always have. And yeah. When Chris launched Legit, it was Valentine's Day 2018,
Mhm.
and he went live, and we immediately put up a a service up there and our PR services, and so yeah.
Did you know
I always ask him, I'm like, do you know, was I like in the top 20? I always wanted to ask him, like, am I like one of your first 20? You know, that he goes, you're on the first day. I don't know who came in and how the order came in, but you were the first day. I'm like, all right, well, I can live with that, I guess.
Yeah. No, listen, he was speaking very highly of you, and says that's one of his guys that have come good, and went on to other things and additional exposure.
Well, Chris is one of those guys though too. I mean, I like to learn from people and I like to see what they're doing and kind of dissect it and go like, okay, I could take that and run with it. Chris is like, and if you legit as the example, right? So if you listen to Chris's backstory and then look at what he's done with legit, that thing is what, 8 years old, something like that, and he's taken that thing to, I mean, a multi-million-dollar platform.
Yeah.
I'm sure when he wants to go cash out, he's going to make some very nice coin on that.
Yeah, and he certainly doesn't give any inclination that he's ready to even do that yet.
Oh God, no, yeah, yeah.
He's all about building that shit up. So, yeah, Chris was my McDonald's buddy in Chiang Mai. So yeah, we were hanging out at McDonald's every other night. But nah, he's a great guy, and
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've actually sat and spoke to him like in proper depth. So yeah, we sat in the hotel lobby to 4 or 5 a.m. A couple of nights just chatting shit to people, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, he's not a drinker either, so
Nah,
he wasn't gonna go to the bars and go drink and go do the crazy stuff with Uncle Dave and Christian and
no,
those
no, no.
boys.
We were the pussies. We were off out of the parties and stuff at like 11. Went for a McDonald's, and
Yeah.
then went over to the hotel lobby just to network. Because there was always a lot of guys there that
Mhm.
hang around that don't drink as well. So we were in the kind of non-drinking group.
What hotel did you stay at over there? I bought my ticket for next year.
I normally stay in the hotel where the event's at. It's called the Marriott.
Oh, at the Marriott there.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, there's a couple of hotels around that area, and that are decent. Chris stayed just round the corner. Couldn't tell you the name of it, but if you ask him, I'm sure he'll tell you. His was a nice hotel as well. So, yeah, the Marriott's just it's easier. Just see if you're at the event and that event's big, it gets busy. See if you want to just slip off to your room just to chill or
Right.
whatever. It's nice to just do it in the hotel rather than getting an Uber or whatever back to where you are. So I've always found staying at the hotel where the event's at is pretty decent. But I think Chris said it was full, so he booked one just literally around the corner. So it was 2 minutes walk. But there's
I like to do the same as well. I like to stay at whatever the hotel the conference is at. That's generally my
you can just dip in and out, and some people were complaining that the Marriott's quite expensive or whatever. It's not any more expensive than anything in America, to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, it's probably more expensive than other Thailand hotels, but the beds and everything are decent in the Marriott. So I quite like that hotel. Super clean. Staff couldn't be more helpful. So, but you're probably paying US prices for the room for the night rather than Thai prices, because there's a lot of guys out there who are like, yeah, I'm staying in this one along the road. It's $50 a night, and you're like, whoa, man, fuck that $50 a night stuff, man. There's
cockroaches in bed with you. Yeah.
I'm not fucking into that shit, man. So some of the SEO crowd are all about saving money, and and others. I just I'm getting older, man, and I value my comfort a bit better.
Yeah.
Relaxation time. But old Uncle Dave and Christian and all that. I mean, these guys would fucking sleep in beds with snakes and everything. Like, they're not that fucking arsed. So,
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, I'm not saying any more on that side of things. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No stories yet, right? So
nah.
gotta
What
keep them
goes on
clean.
in Chiang Mai stays in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's the rules we need to abide by. So, I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll try to get Christian to tell us some stories in the group.
I don't even know if Christian will be home yet. I don't know if he was staying on or he was leaving. There was a whole bunch of guys like staying for another week, just to continue the partying and whatever else. But man, to be fair, I don't think Christian's as bad as he was a couple of years ago. I think he's pretty chill. I don't know if he can cope with it. Dude, Uncle Dave was just batshit crazy as ever. But he doesn't drink as much either. He doesn't need drink to be batshit crazy, though. Uncle Dave actually hired a scooter to get around because he didn't want to drink as much. So yeah, I think what I can definitely say over the years, because I first went to Chiang Mai probably 7 or 8 years ago. Everyone has kind of mellowed that I know anyway. Like, no one's doing the shit that we're doing years ago, chucking their guts up and rolling about in gutters.
That's what happens with age, right?
Yeah.
So like me now as well, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not doing any of that stuff. That's why I kind of outgrew or one of those mastermind mansions that we used to go to. I'm like, there was one, I'm like, okay, this is just getting a little too much for me. It's just not my deal anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
and so I didn't go to the last one. I think you went to the one down in Texas somewhere, and I didn't go to that one.
Yeah. That was definitely milder as well. The Texas one, the Nashville one was my first ever one, and that was a bit. That was an eye-opening one.
That was a little off the chain there. Yeah.
But so that's it. That's it, done and dusted.
Nice. All right, brother.
Right. Well, everyone will be back at the same time next week. But before we go, please do check out Randy's new website.
Go check out the changes. Tell me what you think.
Put something in the comments if you want to send them some abuse.
Yes.
His link is below, though, if you want to go and check it out. And of course, if you're interested in his services or even just a free 15-minute consultation to see how it can benefit you, then go check him out. And we'll see you at the same time next week, everyone.